Hello Cancer. Now you may have noticed I've got a slightly new setup. I actually have an overhead camera holder here now, so I'm excited for that. Hopefully that means my readings are going to get a bit more consistent in terms of ratio and angle and things like that. Quite excited. I'm doing shadow work readings today. What this means is that we're going to take a deep dive into ourselves. We're going to look at the things that hold us back, the things that that have caused us pain in the past that we haven't properly dealt with, you know, just our own bad behaviour and bad habits, and you know, the things that kind of hold us back and stop us from fulfilling, you know, the best life that we could possibly have. So I'm just going to quickly say as well, I have got my window open. It is boiling hot here in the UK today and I can't shut the window. I'd literally die. So there is going to be a lot of background noise, so I'm sorry for that, but it is what it is. I quite like it. I like living in noisy places. I find it quite comforting to have like people around. I am working with this Aleister Crowley deck. Now, Aleister Crowley was a very controversial figure. This deck was given to me as a gift. Talking about gifts, I don't know if somebody's been gifted kind of gold sparkly jewellery, or you've given somebody a gift, or there's a piece of jewellery around you that's particularly significant at the moment, but my eye was just getting drawn to like gold jewellery with like diamonds or diamantes in. Just a side message for somebody there that could be relevant. But yeah, this deck was gifted to me, and at first I kind of googled who Aleister Crowley was, and he was a very controversial figure. I had a weird relationship with this deck at first, but I'm used to it now, and it works really, really well for when you do that shadow work. So I want to say that Cancer, especially for you, the first water sign that I'm doing, if you're feeling particularly touchy, easily triggered right now, over emotional, it might not be the right time for you to do this reading. Pick a time when you're feeling like you're ready to do that work. If today isn't that day, then leave it. If you never want to watch this reading, then that's fine, but doing this shadow work is really important for everybody because it releases us from the shackles of the things that hold us back. I may give you some things that you don't want to hear in this reading, okay? Please, shadow work, shadow readings will trigger you. That is the intention of them. If you've done a lot of work on yourself and you're not triggered, then that means that this reading wasn't for you. But if you do feel triggered, ask yourself why and kind of spend some time looking within rather than trying to blame without, okay? And this is a message for everybody when we do shadow work. It's very easy when we're hurt, when we feel vulnerable, when we get called out on something, to switch it around and blame other people. Now, I know people with Cancerian placements who do this as well. It's like very hard to take that criticism, and so instead of allowing it and taking it on board and using it as constructive feedback, they use those snappy claws to kind of attack. It's like attack is the best form of defense when you feel like somebody's saying you're less than, but we're all less than. None of us are perfect. We've all got shadow work to do. So Cancers, I hope that explains my intention with this reading to you, and we're going to get into it. And if you want to leave right now, if you're like, this isn't my reading today, you know, especially if you're doing things like you're in counselling, or you know, you're really going through something, it might just not be the right time. So huge trigger warning, okay? If you move forward at your own risk. I'm really getting the name Katie very strongly. They're basically shouting at me. I didn't want to say it because I know somebody with Cancerian placement where that name's relevant, and I didn't want to feel like I was calling anyone specific out. I'm not doing that. Right? I'm not calling anyone specific out, but if they're giving me a name, I'm going to give it to you. And it's to the point where it feels like it's going to be word vomit if I don't say it. It's like that name has to come up. So that's for somebody. And what else have I got? You got two songs as I was setting up. You got Lust for Life by Lana Del Rey and The Weeknd, and Do You Realise by The Flaming Lips. So my boyfriend's back and he's cooler than ever. Blue skies forever. And I'm looking out my window and it's literally not a cloud in the sky. It's so blue. So somebody's returning. It feels great, right? I'd ask, like instantly knowing what's here, I'd ask, Why did they leave in the first place? What went wrong in the first place? Have you addressed those issues? Because they're back, right? They're returning. So if that's the case, don't be all like, oh, sunshine and rainbows and unicorn farts. Something went wrong for that person to have to leave, or for you to have to leave initially. Has that issue been resolved, or are you stuck in a cycle? So again, shadow work, tough questions being asked here. It's not going to be for everybody. But there's this feeling as well with both of those songs of having, because they say only the good die young, and instead of saying all your last goodbyes, let them know you realise life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. So there's this kind of balls to the wall feeling of life is short, YOLO kind of thing. You only live once. I'm going to do the things that make me feel good in the instant. You know, not think of the long term. So for some of you may be in that energy, not all of you, but that's what I'm picking up on from those songs. A couple of other messages I got. Services are offline. Now this came through because I'm having very on and off links to the psychic network. So it's even like the tarot readers that I watch, a lot of them are being quite erratic at the moment. A lot of them are taking breaks, and I was considering taking a break as well. I was thinking maybe I'll just have this week off, maybe next week off, just because I feel like the connection is intermittent. It hasn't gone. For example, last night, I had a nap yesterday and I was getting so much stuff. It was like bombarded. And then even last night I was getting things through, but I feel I'm having a bit of trouble hooking up intentionally, is what I would say is happening. So the way it's transmitting to you, especially because as I was trying to plug in my phone and charge my battery to do this reading, I'm really paranoid actually, I'm gonna have to keep checking that I'm still recording. It wasn't going in properly, it wasn't, I'd left it for a while and it hadn't charged. So there's something to do with like the energy. It could be literal energy like power supply, or it could be your energy, like your physical energy or your psychic energy. Feels very on and off at the moment. Having said that, your energy feels super calm today. Normally with Cancerian energy, like literally I normally do like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and then have a break before I do the next 3 readings. And in that space between, I will go over emotional, off the wall. Like normally Cancer, your energy doesn't normally agree with me very well. It's like I can't handle it. So because you're ruled by the moon, right, you're like super Queen of Cups emotions, and that's not my natural state. So I have a lot of, it feels very uncomfortable to me to do that. It's also my North Node, so I need to get more comfortable with it. But yeah, I will have to stop what I'm doing, go and do your reading to clear out that, because I start to build energy for your reading, and I have to clear it. So I have to do your reading and get into Leo energy, which I'm more comfortable with. Like, I'm just going to be a confident, lazy Leo, you know. So, but I haven't done a reading for like a few days, and I've been sat in your energy for a few days, and it is fine. It's like absolutely fine. So calm, so stable. So I don't know if some of you have done something a bit different or come to terms with something, I don't know, but it's like your energy is like, bish, I've got this. It's great. So more of this, Cancer, please. I can cope with this. And whatever you're doing, it's good, right? I also felt like a heart pull, at the same time as getting like services are offline, like a heart like jolt. I get this quite often when I make a connection. I can feel people's reactions sometimes to when they watch the videos and things like this. I get this jolt. So I got one of those. So some kind of connection made. If you've been having trouble hooking up, like the connection's still there, you can still get on that network, whatever that means for you. Okay. So again, trigger warnings all over the place. I was very, very drawn to this deck. It's the Romance Angels Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. Now, I don't like this specific copy of this deck because it's not a real official copy. I got it when I was when I first started getting into tarot, and I didn't really know what I was looking for, and I got it, and it's like a knockoff. It's a fake deck from Amazon. So, you know, look for that. Look for the prime stuff, I'd say, if you're buying decks. You don't want a dodgy deck. So I don't feel like it works very well for me. I don't, the messages don't connect, they don't fit in and things. I feel like it's like a duff deck. But I as I was setting up, I was so drawn to it. Like the colour was jumping out at me, and I was like, I feel like there's a message there for Cancer. But having said that, again, look, you can see the printing is like really bad on the edges. Having said that, don't take it as literal, this is for me, I know it kind of thing. I mean, use your intuition. If that's what your intuition's telling you, go for it. But take it with a pinch of salt is what I'm saying, because this deck is tricky for me. But what I got, and again, brace yourselves, is release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. Release your ex. I'm just standing up so I can see. And let go of control issues. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. And those two together, I was like, yeah, that is Cancerian energy. Like, that is either what you've been dealing with or literal advice to you. So some of you, release your ex, let it go, let it flow, hand it over to the universe, let go of control issues, stop trying to control a situation, a relationship from the past, stop trying to make things go your way, stop having expectations of what your relationship should be like. Let it go, let it flow, get into a more light-hearted, playful energy. That comes through for you quite often. It's there now. Take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. It could be a message for somebody else. It's a general reading. Not every single message is going to be for you. So, but it wanted to come through. It wanted to show itself. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. The time has come to clear your energy. Oh, and give your relationship a chance though. Work on your partnership. So that's more positive, isn't it? Slightly contradictory. If you've been over controlling in relationships, it doesn't have to be love. You know, that's a message there. Okay, I'm just going to pause and have a drink of water and we'll get into the cards. Alright, you may hear some noise outside. It's just my neighbour opening his gate so he can go to work. So it'll just be for a moment. Okay, so we're reading for Thursday for Cancerian energy. The question is, what shadow works should Cancer be focusing on? What shadow works should Cancer be focusing on? Okay, I'm taking this card, but we'll have a look at what they are. You also have luxury. Interesting, luxury on the bottom. I'm instantly getting letting go of a need for luxury, letting go of control issues regarding money or like the finer things in life. It's sort of like if you need to buy a pair of leggings, do you really have to get Lululemon leggings for like 80 quid, or can you get like you know, a perhaps not those leggings, but like a lesser brand? Could you perhaps buy, if you need to buy 3 pairs of leggings, could you perhaps get 1 branded pair of leggings and 2 that aren't? So it's like you don't have to have like everything designer is what's coming through. That again doesn't have to be an F message for everybody. It's the underlying, it could just be a side message. You've also got the Fool and the Emperor. Oh, interesting. What I'm instantly getting from those 2 cards is like it's like Shakespearean characters, like especially someone like King Lear. Like the Emperor is looking to the Fool, and Henry VIII. It's funny, I'm going to mention it because I was thinking about mentioning it for you anyway, and now it's coming through in your reading. My daughter's really into this musical at the moment called Six, which is about the wives of Henry VIII. It's looking at things from their perspective. So I don't know if that kind of situation has anything to relevant to you. Hopefully nobody's getting beheaded anytime soon. But they would often, the Henry VIII, so I'm saying this Emperor character is Henry VIII, you can see how he's looking at the Fool. He would, people would be scared to tell him things, and often it'd be like his fool's job, his kind of like what they call, like they wear coxcombs, what they call the jester, the court jester. They'd send the jester in because he had the king's ear, and he could deliver information in a way that the king would accept it and not get angry about it. So it's almost like the words of the Fool are actually quite wise, or this person can deliver messages to the Emperor in a way that is not going to rile them. You know, they deliver it in a way that the Emperor finds acceptable. So there could be a message there for somebody. But also, if you look at King Lear, a lot of the people around the king in that play were giving the king bad advice. Things as like Richard II as well, you know, bad advisors to somebody in a position of power. And so there's a question of, I don't know if this is you. I don't think either of these people are you. I think this could be situational, but take it if it resonates. It's like somebody in a position of power who has bad advisors will, you know, if they listen to the wrong people, they're going to make bad decisions based on that bad advice. However, the fool, who's like the lowest person in the king's household, often is very, very wise, especially like socially wise, because they have to read the room a lot. You know, they're in a kind of a difficult position where, you know, they could easily be like, you know, cast out if they say the wrong thing. So they have to be very socially aware to know. It's kind of like walking on eggshells energy is what's coming through. It's like they have to be socially aware. They have to know, they have to read the room. They have to know, is it the right time for this joke? Should I take a different style of joke? So there's something to do with like, this person's very socially aware. They can read the, where the emperor is all business. They, you know, very focused on the goals, getting the job done. The fool is more in touch with like the common people, the common, sentiments of people. So he's actually in a position where the people around the king, who are all these kind of like royal people who aren't really in touch with that everyday human experience, cannot give the king that level of like earthy grounded advice that the fool is able to, because the fool can go into like different situations. They could go into the bar, they could go into the village and talk to people on a one-to-one level. So he's actually going to give the king really good advice. There's some kind of message coming through with that for somebody. Noticing as well, this kind of like lion dog animal here, and then he has this dog here as well, or it's a lamb, isn't it? It's a lamb. And then like the Aries rams there as well. Typically Aries Taurus, and this would be Aries as well. So with it both being Aries energy, it could be somebody who can do both. Like they can play the fool, but they can step up when they need to. Or it's like almost like the starter journey of this Aries energy of taking a leap of faith, maybe quite entrepreneurial. Could be somebody who's an entrepreneur around you. You know, they take the risks, they take the gambles. Some of them pay off. You know, the emperor has the luxury as well. So there could be something about taking a gamble, taking a leap of faith in terms of something that could pay off really, really well. I actually saw, and I'm going to get it out to show you. I'm just trying to think which deck it's in. I think it's in this deck. I saw a card last night. Oh, marriage on the bottom. That could be relevant to somebody. I saw a card from this deck last night, and I didn't think it was for you. I was thinking about doing a Tell Me Anything reading, but it could be for you. There, that's the card I saw. Number 11, sudden wealth, 777. Watch out for number patterns, especially 11s and 7s. Yeah, there could be some kind of opportunity that comes up for you where you can take some kind of gamble or risk. Watch out for gambling issues. That, you know, that's definitely shadow energy, isn't it? Somebody who gambles too much. So I don't know. Take all those messages if they're relevant. Leave them if they're not. So you've actually got, though, the Four of Wands, which says completion on it. Now, the Four of Wands is a card about your stability, your home, your structure, your workplace, the kind of the structures, the things that are steadfast in your life, your foundations. It can also talk about like events as well, you know, get-togethers, socialising. But it's my tent peg card, so I always say the deeper you put in those tent pegs, the more firm those foundations are going to be of whatever this structure is for you. But you've completed some sort of cycle. You can see on the depiction on this card is like almost like the world or the Wheel of Fortune, where it's like this cycle. So a cycle of fortune, what goes up must come down. A change in fate, possibly. Again, with this kind of Aries energy here, and then it's like sparrow-like energy. Okay, I'm going to read from the book. Oh. So this is the shadow. This is what you need to work on. Okay, brace yourselves, Cancer. So keywords, Venus in Aries. I don't know if somebody has a Venus in Aries placement. Completion, unity, possibility of new beginnings. Well, that will explain why the Fool's there. The circle is full. All contradictions and opposites come together and connect at the centre. The harmony between male and female, active and passive, ram and dove. So that explains the ram and dove. Active and passive, masculine and feminine. The harmony has returned. That's kind of what I'm feeling, that kind of like stable energy. So the harmony's returned. The fire of creativity is kindled by this occurrence. Venus, the symbol of beauty and love, combines with Aries, the principle of new beginnings. Again, it explains why the Fool's there. The Fool's all about new beginnings. The heart pushes forth and seeks, that's what I felt as well, that heart push. The heart pushes forth and seeks the development of the beautiful in new directions. Before the new can arise, the old must be complete. Release, what is it, release your ex? The conflict between opposites must be resolved in a way that will further you on your way towards your highest goal. Tension in relationships can work positively when the individuality of each partner is recognised and respected. Okay, I'm going to read that again. Let go of control issues, right? So in relationships, tension in relation, it doesn't have to be love as well, it can be work relationships, lots of different things. Tension in relationships can work positively when the individuality of each partner is recognised and respected. So if you are having tension with people around you, recognise their individuality. Don't try to control them based on your belief system or your what works for you. You have to recognise that that other person has their own journey that they're on. So you can work things out if you're willing to listen and compromise, is I think what's coming through there. This makes it possible for you to support one another in moving forwards. Now, Cancer, because you are really care about those firm foundations, you want things to be secure, you want things to be there for the long term. This may be, if you don't want anything to threaten that. So if you feel like there's any kind of threat to your system, that's where you might start to really rein in those reins of the chariot, where you're trying to control things a little bit too tightly. There's a message here about compromising rather than controlling in order to achieve power, right? It's almost like you don't want to be tyrannical, because you could be that emperor as well. So again, take it as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. You don't have to be tyrannical to have control, to have power. People are respected more when they are fair, when they compromise, when they listen. And you can still make that ruling. You can still say, no, I'm sorry, this is the way it's going to be. However, I have taken your feelings on board. I'm aware of your circumstances, and I'll modify things where possible if I can in the future, but right now this is the decision. So you don't have to be like, no, it's my way or the highway, is the way that's coming through. Indications. Something beautiful is making its way into your relationships. You may notice it first as established conditions are called into question and discussed openly. So your relationships are actually improving, but you may fear this this questioning of the status quo, perhaps. Established conditions are called into question and discussed openly, but that open discussion is going to make way for a more harmonious relationship in the future. Clarifying the old is a prerequisite for a new oneness, a new beginning. Questions. So these are questions to you, Cancer. Are you prepared to accept your partner as she or he is, in spite of your differences? What areas are in urgent need of clarification or resolution? Okay, so there's a suggestion. If there is some tension between you and someone else, now is a good time to clarify and resolve the interaction and complete the old. Completing the old nosy car. So you've got an affirmation if you want to say this when you wake up in the mornings or something for the next week or so. Completing the old frees me for the new. Oh my God. So I don't know if you have control issues or you've been dealing with like a controlling emperor. So this could be a boss, a father, an ex-partner, father of your children. So it feels like it's coming through this way around, right? Possibly with luxury, it could be like walking away from luxury, from a place where you're comfortable, because where are we? Like the emperor could potentially have control issues. In the upright, they're very good, but if anyone was going to potentially have control issues, it could be an emperor-like figure. So let go of control issues, release your ex, complete the old. Some of you may be going into a new relationship. Again, it could be a business relationship. It doesn't have to be romantic. So just take it as it resonates. So you have to fully release this. You have to fully release the old cycle, really discuss things, really tie up those loose ends in order to have the new and to have the potential for new wealth. Okay, and wealth can come in different forms. Wealth can, as well as being literal money, it can also mean you know, wealth in terms of happiness, like, or feeling fulfilled. There are a lot of ways that we could define that word wealth. So just, that's interesting. And this could be, if there's a new relationship coming in for you, it could be your 1111. It could be the person that's meant for you. Others of you, you've because it's like My Boyfriend's Back, that song. Some of you have had a very rocky relationship with somebody, but you're still willing to give it another chance. But you can't just go back into it and be like, oh, the back, yay, sunshine, you know. You have to resolve those issues that caused the problems in the first place. I think, you know, keep your boundaries up, keep your barriers up a little bit, have that self-respect to say, I'm interested in giving this another chance, but we need to work out what went wrong in the first place, and we need to find a common ground and find ways of avoiding those situations in the future. And somebody has control issues. Again, it can be control issues because they're scared of losing something or someone. So there's quite a lot going on there for you, but you feel calm. Your energy feels really good today. Yeah, definitely like completion. Completion is starting again, and possibly walking away from some kind of like job or home where you had a lot of like material wealth, moving towards something where you have more spiritual wealth, I think is what's coming through. And am I still recording? I am. Good. Okay, so tell me more about the shadow work for Cancer. Shadow work for Cancer, please. I was going to ask for one card. I saw this in your pre-shuffle, so I'm going to take that one. But we also have the Healer and the Temple. The fault line. Yeah, don't ignore the cracks underneath. You know, if you're walking on broken glass, it's easier to sweep up the glass, right? You know, you can continue to walk on broken glass, or you can be like, I'm going to solve this. I'm going to sort this problem out. Can you see all those? Okay, if I put them like that. So the Temple, the Healer, the Eternal Child. So we are dealing with like childhood trauma or like childhood issues, and it can be like, you may have had like the perfect family, right? You may have had like gorgeous like siblings and like parents who just support you and they're great, but we can still have conditioning where we are molded by the expectations and belief systems of the people and the culture that we're raised in and around. So there could be something for somebody where it's like, especially with the Temple, which can talk about spirituality, religion, and the Healer as well. It could be like, I really feel like somebody, excuse me, a bit rude. I really feel like somebody's healing, like childhood, they're doing that inner child work, right? They're doing that shadow work in regards to the child within, and they're healing something. And it's something to do with, it really feels like the body as well, like your body is your temple, finding the divinity within, finding the child within, being your own mentor, being the mentor, the spiritual mentor that you needed when you were a child, and healing the damage done by others who perhaps weren't right for you, right? They may be great for other people, but maybe they weren't right for you. So you're being your own priest, right? You're being the guardian of your own inner child right now, which I really, really love that. I'm going to read this inner child card, eternal child card, sorry, because I feel like that's the one. It kind of landed on my hand, and it's funny that I should open it on the orphan. So yeah, I feel like you've had some kind of like abandonment issues. It says like the wounded child, the abandoned, the beggar. You have some kind of like possibly like attachment issues going on, where, you know, codependency, fear of people leaving you, fear of being on your own, fear of being abandoned, that comes from childhood. It could even be like one day, right, you got lost in a shopping centre one day, and that's kind of you know, done a little bit of inner trauma that you're dealing with now as an adult, right? It can happen like that. So, but there is something underlying, there is a problem underneath, which is the shadow work. We all have it, okay? It comes in different forms for all of us, but you're healing it, you're doing well. So yeah, I feel like that's what you're healing. You're working on this child within that's scared, that clings to things, that doesn't feel like they, you know, that looks for warmth and compassion and happiness outside themselves, where actually now you're realizing that you can be the person to care for that inner child yourself, right? You don't need anyone externally. You can soothe yourself. You can soothe your own inner child. I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but it feels like an important message. Okay, Cancer. The inner child, the child of joy. The eternal child is connected to the timeless, ageless, and infinite aspects of life. It is radiant and fearless and seeks joy above all else and at any cost. Ah, there you go, that lust for life. That's what I was picking up on when I was listening to that song. At any cost. It's radiant and fearless and seeks joy above all else and at any cost. I was getting, because it was like Dance on the H of the Hollywood sign. It's kind of like, and like Only the Good Die Young. It's almost like yeah, like this YOLO feeling of you only live once. A bit reckless. I was picking that up at the start of the reading. It's like a fear of, do you know what it is? Do you know what it's coming through as? It's coming through as a fear of this. So it's coming through as avoidance. Like, I want to avoid the bad feelings. I want to avoid, you know, I only live once, so I want to feel happiness every single moment of that. That's not realistic. That's not a realistic human experience. So it's like this avoidance of bad feelings. I actually got downtown. I channeled, maybe these are for you. I channeled downtown last night. You can always go downtown. And it was saying to me, sorry, that's still playing, listen to the music. It was saying to me, I was getting this impression of somebody who avoids, you know, when they're stressed or, you know, they have issues. It's almost like avoidance. Like, do you know what, I'm just going to go out and party and I'm not going to think about that thing that, you know, that's upsetting me, that thing that's getting me down. You know, it's almost like that song, looking at it in a different light last night, is like encouraging bad habits. It's like, I'm just going to drink. I'm just going to go out and drink and party with my friends and not look at those bills. You know, not think about the issues at work. That actually, do you know what? Maybe it'd be better to have a think about that. It's almost like sit in the bad feelings and actually address the fault line, address the problem in your relationships. Because if you leave it there and you avoid it and you go out looking for that fun, looking for those like you only live once moments, it's just like, it's like just shining the surface, and it's not actually going to bring you inner fulfillment. So something there for you, Cancer. It struggles being bound to an aging body with physical limitations in a world that demands attention to detail and logistics. The eternal child wants to nix all the rules and responsibilities and go beyond what others say is possible. It wants to return with plenty of friends to the land of the free, where the divine wine and creativity pour from the earth and the sky. We all want to sip from the well of eternal youth, and it makes the eternal child naturally popular. I'd say, Cancer, you do have that energy. Very fun-loving, but you do have this kind of dark and shadow to you. I notice this a lot with Cancerians that I know. You know, you're always up for a good time. You're always up for a laugh. You can be very, very funny. You know, you can be the centre of attention, centre of the room. But at the same time, I get this sense that it's almost like a mask. And you know, when you go home and you have that quiet, that's when the kind of shadow work comes up for you. You know, that's when the shadows come out to play, where, you know, the mask is almost like a defense mechanism, where you don't perhaps want to discuss things all the time with the people around you. It makes the eternal child naturally popular, perhaps even famous. The eternal child glimmers. It reminds us of what is possible and what is magical about this precious life. So there's a lot of positive to it as well. You know, it is magical, it is attractive, it is magnetic. It says, when light, joyful, playful, accepts all, and magic. But we're talking about shadow work, so be wary, because it says, when dark, addicted, Cancer, selfish, adrift, or burnout. Cancer, burnout. Do you get burnout cancer? Do you though? I think you do. I see it. Go deeper. Icarus, Peter Pan, Rumi's Has Anyone Seen the Boy? Celebrity culture is based heavily on this archetype, and there are a lot of famous Cancerians. I believe Lana Del Rey's Cancer, as it is the phrase "live hard, die young." There you go, YOLO. Didn't I say it at the beginning? I'm not making this up, guys. Look, live hard, die young. And in the series of artists and musicians who died at 27, like Kurt Cobain, who else? Who was the girl in Clueless? Did she die at 27? This archetype is so spirited that when it's appetite for life, lust for life, right? You can't make it up. The archetype is so spirited that when its appetite for life isn't satiated, it seeks spirits and substances elsewhere. The eternal child struggles with addictions of all varieties. Definite shadow work to do there. Some of you are going to have done a lot of shadow work. It's going to be easier for some of you. Some of you, this is like, oh yeah, you've hit it right on the bud. You know, some of you are like, oh no, that's cut to the bone, that one. But it's okay, Cancer. We're going to get through this, and we're going to move now to how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? You've got the healer. Look, you've got the healer twice. Look at that. Yeah, there's something you're healing. And just look at the way that snake's head and the dragon's head. This one here, it kind of curls around to kind of look back. It's almost like looking back and looking within, right? So it's kind of Asclepius energy, healer, medicine. You may need to literally, especially if you've got addictions, you may literally need to heal your body. You know, do some detoxing. Luna. Okay, let's see what Luna has to say to us. Okay, I'm going to stand up just to kind of stretch out my legs. So that's number 18. 18 could be a significant number for you. Embrace and accept what you really feel. Cancer. Do you know that the fault line's there, and are you ignoring it? Who else had this? I don't know if it was Taurus. And look, there's the venom. And the venom, it can literally mean like toxins in the body. Yeah, be careful. Don't overdo it, guys. Guys, girls. I'm trying not to use the word term guys, because I know some people find it to be a gendered term. I use it as people, you know, mates. But, you know, I'm trying not to use it because I know some people are uncomfortable with it. Okay, so this is how we're going to deal with this. Okay, Cancer, this is like your advice on doing this shadow work. Embrace and accept what you really feel. As her name suggests, Luna is connected to our moon and her phases. She is a mother figure, and due to her watery nature, this sounds like so Cancerian, like Queen of Cups energy. So it's like, just be you, right? Be you, but the best version of you. And that doesn't mean wearing a false mask. That means accepting your feelings and working with them. She is a mother figure, and due to her watery nature, she connects to emotions, creativity, and of course water. Her arrival is a prompt to fully feel your emotions, no avoiding, fully feel your emotions, particularly if you've been avoiding their messages. She urges you to examine them. Examine them, own them, and release what you no longer need. Release your ex, right? So your ex could be like feelings that you don't need anymore. It doesn't have to be a literal person. It says, if you have been feeling overwhelmed, it's fine to ask for help. This is not a weakness, but an acknowledgement that you have been strong for too long on your own. Oh my God, Cancer, I'm getting goosebumps. If you have been feeling overwhelmed, it's fine to ask for help. It's not a weakness, but an acknowledgement that you have been too strong for too long on your own. Cancer, that's so... A little self-care wouldn't go amiss either. You can only fully be who you want to be once you embrace and accept what you really feel. Only then can you truly transform. Sorry, I'm like going like this gradually. She urges us to follow our creativity. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant thing for you. All those emotions give you a lot of creative wealth. So use that. Follow your creativity and to revisit latent talents, whether they're musical, written, in the field of performing, and so on. There's some of you out there who are definitely like working on a stage of some kind. She tells me, these activities are good for the soul. You can lose yourself in the moment that's giving me M&M. Become engrossed in a piece of work and embrace the bliss that accompanies such activities. So use your creativity. For example, I was like, I got my old spirograph out. It's not an old one, it's a new one. I bought it new as an adult because I'm an adult child, right, on this. Spirograph, and I got it down the other day, and just like doing it like with the different colored pens, like the perfection of it, right, when you do it slowly and you get good at it, like it's like those YouTube videos where, you know, it's like sand pouring in a nice way, or like water pouring in a nice way. It's so soothing. So whatever it is, like get out some kind of childhood creative project you used to enjoy. Perhaps you liked using clay, you know, perhaps you're an artist, whatever it is, like go back to it, revisit it, and find the simple joy in that. You know, even if you want to paint your emotions, paint how you feel. Even if you're not an artist, you know, you can give it a go. You know, what colours express how you feel. So yeah, get in touch with it. Don't avoid that fault line. Don't avoid the warning signs, especially if it's a warning sign in your own body, that you need more rest, that you need to heal something, that you need to go to a doctor and check something out. You know, even like exhaustion, overdoing it, you know, pay attention to the warning signs, especially with your body and especially with your emotions. And where will this take Cancer, please? Where will this take Cancer? Where will this lead Cancer to? What's the light? Where's the light here when they do the shadow work? Tell me about the light for Cancer. Oh, secrets. Mintakan, longing for home. It's like Nostos. Longing for home, belonging. The original light workers. The original light workers. Why haven't I pulled that down? And then you've got warrior woman. Whoa, Cancer. Have you answered your deepest calling? Tell you what, Cancer can definitely get in that warrior woman energy when they want to, especially if they're like protecting somebody else, I find. All right, I think we'll read this and probably wrap up your reading, because we're at the 42-minute mark. I've got these out for like clarifying and things, but I don't feel like I need them. I think that's quite clear what you need to be doing. I think it's probably not a surprise to you either. I think you probably know all this. You know, it doesn't come as a surprise to you. It's just like maybe hearing it, because I think some of you have been, you know, suppressing your feelings, avoiding feeling certain things, avoiding dealing with certain things. I'm definitely getting like avoidance, because you're trying to avoid, it's like you're trying to avoid that problem. And it's saying get in touch with your emotions about it. Stop trying to mask your emotions, or, you know, self-medicate in negative ways. Like feel what needs to be feel what needs to be felt, have those difficult conversations, close it out and move on, right? Be in that warrior woman energy, or it's taking you to warrior woman energy. Okay, so that's beautiful cards. This is the Work Your Light deck by Rebecca Campbell. Mintakans are a soul group who originated on a planet in the constellation Orion. They were the first star beings to travel to Earth and believed to be the original light workers. The Mintakans' home planet is thought to have been a water world. Well, perfect for you, right, Cancerian, Queen of Cups? A water world with water so pure that you could see through it for miles. There you go, seeing through your own emotions, right? For this reason, Mintakans feel most at peace and at home when in or around crystal clear water. They are here to teach us to see the potential in everything and the light in all beings. Many Mintakans have an odd longing for home. So Cancerian. Many Mintakans have an odd longing for home and struggle with feelings like they don't belong. It is thought that this is due to their home planet no longer being in existence. It's like Doctor Who, right? If you pulled this card, it could mean that you are a Mintakan or longing for a sense of belonging and root chakra healing, again, healing for the third time. Root chakra healing is necessary for you to feel secure and safe, because the root chakra is all about your stability, your foundations, going back to that Four of Wands card. Perhaps you feel this longing to find home without knowing where that is. Perhaps you've been moving around a lot and yearn for a place on earth to call your own. If so, you are being called to connect with Mother Earth and create it for yourself now. Choose where you feel most at home and create it, rather than waiting for the feeling of belonging to come. Work your light transmission. Hold the card to your heart. Hold your phone or PC or whatever to your heart and say, okay, I'll show you so you can say this as well. I allow myself to be truly here and at home on this planet. I release any grief around not belonging or feeling held and call it the perfect home. Okay, so what did we say about the orphan? Like, feeling of not belonging, feeling of abandonment. Create your own home. Create your own home, starting from within you, starting from that light within, and you know, build it on the foundations and principles that are right for you, and be honest with yourself about that. Be honest with your emotions. Don't build something on false, cracked foundations, because that is not going to stand in the long run, and that's not what you want. I just saw 4554, by the way, so mirror numbers. Yeah, really interesting. It's funny because it came out, I can't remember, I feel like it could have been for Taurus. Somebody else had this card with the fault line, and I was talking about a Doctor Who. It was actually a whole series, the one with Amy Pond, Karen Gillan and Matt Smith, where he meets her as a child, and she has this crack on a bedroom wall, but a lot of people ignore it. And this crack kind of goes through the whole of the series. And I'm just kind of thinking about how Doctor Who as well, his home was Gallifrey. It was a planet. He thought it had been destroyed, but it hadn't been destroyed. It was actually kind of like between timelines. It was hidden. So there could be something where there could be something to that for somebody. It came up it's been coming through in a couple of different readings, that kind of whole storyline. So yeah, it could definitely be something for somebody there. But yeah, gorgeous. Like, you're Luna, you're ruled by the moon. The moon controls the tides. So this is very, very Cancerian energy. All to do with foundations. Where do you call home? What are the principles of that? Yeah, you're going to be okay. You're going to do really, really well. Once you face up to the cracks and the venom and the things that need to be healed. Alright, Cancer, I really hope this was helpful to you. It is my intention to help you, not to hurt you, you know. Sometimes you've got to be a little bit cruel to be kind in terms of shadow work. So this looks really, really good. Really, really good. And I love that you have the opportunity to build your own future based on the foundations and the principles that are important to you. So look to the future, look to the bright side, but first deal with those cracks, okay? Because you don't want to bring those cracks into the new. Cancer, do take care. Leave me a like if you like. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so that you know when my readings go live. Leave me a comment if anything particularly resonated and you're comfortable sharing that. Those of you who come in as stealth watchers as well, really appreciate you, and building up those watch hours on my channel really, really helps me out. But again, doing this, I'm not getting any money from this, doing it because I hope it helps people. And yeah, also thank you to those of you who spot the things in the comments that shouldn't be there. So sometimes there's like links in the comments. I remove them when I see them, but a lot of the time you guys have already reported them and they've been removed before I even get there. So thank you to those of you who do that. Obviously do not hit any links in those comments. You know, probably dodgy. Again, I don't approach anyone for money ever. So if somebody's asking you for money, it's not me. It's not me. Right, okay, with that, do take care, and I'll see you again soon, Cancer. Bye-bye, and do take care of yourselves, and take care of yourselves properly. Best of luck. Bye-bye.